bringing that good music. Yahweh International. New Foundation Production presents.
Just a little food for thought, baby. Just a little food for thought, baby. Come on. Just a little food for thought, just a little food for thought.
Welcome once again. This is Arquise and the Food for Thought Project. Man, what a blessing it is to be able to talk to you guys, man, and just really try to hash out all this craziness that's going on in our country, in our lives. And tonight is all about the hypocrisy that is going on, and also that morals matter. Without morals, you have nothing. And I don't know why. Well, I kind of do know why, and that's why we're going to talk about it tonight. How did things get here? It's finally come full circle. You know, when we've talked about behaviors, and through your time with me, I've touched on a lot of different subjects. And now I just think it all has come to a head to the point where what I see happening in our country is we're trying to give a pass for morality. And morals used to be like a cornerstone for everybody to be better. But now what everybody's wanting to do is give it a pass. Like, well, nah, that's just who they are. And I'm not with that for a lot of reasons. First of all, our parents spent a lot of time and a lot of energy trying to get us to be better people. And morals is one of the things that they did to try to teach us how to be. And the reason for that is because if you don't have no morals, you'll do anything. You'll do anything for money. You'll do anything for power. You'll do anything for prestige. You'll do anything for status. You'll basically sell your soul if you don't have any morals. You won't stand for anything because you'll fall for everything because you don't have any morals. And what I see now is the complete and utter, how do I express it? Like the implosion of America and what we really should be standing for. And we're always trumpeting all of these things around the world as far as human rights and all these things. We try to push our morality on everybody else. You know, you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't be doing that. And now people look at us and they just laugh. Like it's just a joke. The United States is the social media joke of all times, you know. And I'm just going to start right in on President Trump and let's just get right to it. Why and how? So the minute you say, well, I didn't hire him for A, B, C, and D, you sent all of the young people a horrible message that their morals don't matter. And you got to understand, here's why. Because when I was coming up, to even dream of being the president mean you had to self-check. Like if you want to be president, you need to have these characteristics, okay? That's just how it was. You need to have these characteristics and this type of education and this type of mindset. Some presidents were clearly better than others, and some presidents were absolutely horrible. But through all of that, one thing always kind of steadfast is that no matter how good or bad you were, you better have some morals. Because if you didn't have morals, you're going to have a problem. So we've had multiple presidents completely struggle in that area. And as a society, really, we gave them the business. I don't know if it was Bill Clinton or the Kennedys or whoever it was. You could see we just wasn't having it. Like, nah, you're not going to be the president of the United States, stand on this podium in front of us and our young people and act like this way, because you're sending the wrong message. We may not have to agree on policy and all these other things, but one thing we got to be on the same page is morals. Because if you have no morality, that means everybody below you have no moralities. If the president doesn't have any moralities, the senators don't have any moralities. And if the senators don't have any moralities, you can just keep going down the ladder. And basically, you're telling everybody that all of these people who are supposed to be guiding our country and leading our countries are full of you know what. That really, truly, they don't have any moralities. They're just saying what we want to hear and doing what we want to hear so they can stay in office. But at the end of the day, they're all for sale. You can buy them all, and there's no real plan or purpose to them. They're going to project whatever it is they want to project. And it's sad that it's got that way, you know, because you want to tell these young people like, hey, you guys, stop doing all this stuff. Because this generation right now is a hot mess, but you can't tell them nothing. You really can't tell them nothing because all they're going to do is point to the leader of the free country and goes, are you serious? Are you seriously trying to tell us how we should be conducting ourselves? You got to be serious. This can't be happening, right? Male chauvinist, bigot, racist, and a lot of other things. And you're trying to tell me how to conduct myself? Get out of here. These young people are throwing it right in our face, and rightly so. Because you got to understand the mindset. And let me just talk about believers as well. Here's the hypocrisy. This whole show is about hypocrisy and morals. Let me just talk about hypocrisy for a minute. So, as somebody who considers himself an independent, I've been a Democrat before. And the reason I had to stop being a Democrat is they constantly were doing things that morally I kind of wasn't with. I'm like, look, a lot of the stuff you do socially, I'm with that. I understand helping, you know, I'm an advocate for helping the homeless and there are a lot of mental health. That's just who I am as a person. I believe that if you don't take care of those areas, it comes back in other ways. You're going to pay for it one way. But when it came to like messing with the Father, I don't play that. Nah, you're not going to be dictating none of that to me. So, and that party tends to be too open to too many ideas, and I'm not. So I couldn't go over to the Republicans because over here you got too many racists. You got too many people over here faking it. You got too many people claiming to be believers and Christians, and then in the same breath they're saying racist stuff. And I hate to tell everybody, listen to me right now. If you are a believer, a Christian, whatever you want to call yourself, it is impossible for you to have the Spirit of God inside of you and have that mindset. The Spirit of God that dwells in you. Because God doesn't work that way. You're not going to be sitting up having this racist, demonic mindset because racism is a demonic tool and think God's not going to check you because that's absolutely going to happen. Anytime I have a certain mindset that is a demonic mindset, he gets right on me because the Spirit of God is in me. He's like, no, son, sit down. Let me talk to you. That's the Father I serve. I don't know the Father you serve. You can't be serving the same God I serve because the God I serve is not going to be in the midst of your presence and dwell where you dwell and you have these behaviors going on. It's not happening, man. And part of that is a generational curse that racism and bigotry gets passed on because you guys would leave right out of church and go do a lynching. This has been a seed that's been planted in that culture for a very long time, and they can't break it because they keep embracing it. God keeps trying to break them from racism, bigotry, and they keep embracing that stuff. So in the Republican Party, they keep embracing people with that mindset. So now we've got a president who not only embraces it, he embolds it. That's why all the racism increased. They flat out told him on TV, David Duke and a whole bunch of other people, we put you in office. When you have racist people telling you something like that, and checking you, that's like unbelievable because, you know, people are like, well, he's a believer. No, let me explain something to you, okay? There's a lot of rappers in the world who get up and get an award and says, I want to thank God and blah, blah, blah. But then when you listen to the lyrics of their music, here's the hypocrisy. There's nothing godly in what they're saying. The hypocrisy here has gotten out of control. I've had it. I'm so fed up with it. I need this soft music behind me because without this music playing, I probably would just be blasting like mad as all get up. Oh my goodness. Listen to me. Let me break it down in various areas, okay? Lord help you, son. So I'm going to finish off with the Trump stuff. The issue with Trump is because you hired him to do this job. That's what everybody keeps saying, is that you want to let all the morality slide. but you don't think of the long-term effects. You're in the now and you don't think about what that effect does long-term. You're basically telling every person that's going to be trying to run for office that their morality doesn't matter. Because if you try to make anybody else accountable after this, they're just going to go back to these moments. They're going to go right back to Trump and be like, are you kidding me? Oh, no, you guys don't get to pull the morality card no more. You guys threw that out the window. See the hypocrisy with that? Just because your man is in charge doesn't mean you should chuck morality and other important characteristics out the window, because what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for down the road. Okay, so we can't do that. And so when you have these believers, these conservative Christians, I get it. Let me explain to everybody why the conservative Christians had to back Trump, which was sad, because their conservative agenda when it comes to God's purpose and plan exists on the Republican side. You know, they're not going to be with the abortion. They're not going to be with a whole lot of that stuff. But now you've got to ask somebody who's in charge to fulfill your agenda, who clearly does not care about God's plan and purpose, who's only doing it because, and he says, this is what my constituents hired me to do. This is why they voted me into office. He didn't say this was God's plan. He references God in no way when it comes to the decision makings that he has. It's always about the voters. So with that being the case, now you've got to ask somebody who does not even have God's plan and purpose on his mind, because if he did, we wouldn't be dealing with this Stormy Daniels stuff and all this stuff. First of all, people, to be honest, no one really cares about that stuff. If anybody, listen, people, if you believe that anybody, you might care, but the reality is, you're not shocked. You can't be shocked, because these aren't new rumors. It's just you just finding out. But Trump has been this type of dude since way back. I remember hearing about stuff about Trump 15 years ago, because I'm in the music industry, and you can kind of hear little rumblings about different events, and you hear stuff from models and different people. Oh, I was over here at the Trump Towers, or I was at this golf tournament, because I've been in a lot of those celebrity golf tournaments, and you'll hear stuff about Trump and a whole lot of other people. So this was nothing new, along with a lot of other stuff that he just has done over the decades. So now everybody's like, see, look. Nah, no one's going to care about that stuff. He's not going to get impeached over no Stormy Daniels stuff. Now, the lawyer, he's going to get in some trouble somehow. This stuff is not looking good for him. I'd be shocked. Look, Trump is the Teflon Don. I'll be shocked if any of this stuff blows back on him, because he don't really care. And you know what I'm saying? Like, well, whatever. Yeah, I'm the president of the United States, whatever. Now, the problem in it, is it the hypocrisy? Because what they've done is they've took every statement that Trump has ever made, and now they're starting to play them, link them together and play them. All the hypocrisy of stuff that he says about other people, he's doing now. He's currently doing. So, and there's the problem. There's the hypocrisy. You say, don't plead the fifth. Why are you pleading the fifth? Only criminals plead the fifth. I bet you he's hating that he said that, because now he might plead the fifth. So what does that say? If you go by Trump's word, that means he's admitting that he's a criminal. Do you see what I'm saying, people? The hypocrisy here in politics is ridiculous. You've got all these people leaving offices. You've got all these people quitting. No one wants to stay, because people are leaving for a reason. Let me tell you the real reason people are leaving this presidency. First of all, when they leave, because they're not thinking short term, they have to think long term. If you attach yourself to something that is got borderline bigotry, racism, whatever it may be, you know, after Trump leaves office and you try to get a job, people are going to look at you like you're a liability. Your relationship with Trump is not helping us out, but the fact that you supported that mindset means that you might come here to this company and bring that mindset with you, and nobody wants lawsuits. And how does that play out? Well, if you were supporting somebody who's racist or bigot, or you had those type of mind views, and you felt you emboldened during the Trump presidency to talk that way, Now you've left because now you're starting to get the kickback. Then you try to get a job at someplace else. And let's say you do get a job at someplace else, and then for some reason you cross some line and someone says you said or did something. All they're gonna do is pull your past from the Trump presidency and use that against you. And that's why people are leaving the presidency. They're not thinking this moment. They're trying to think long term, like, yo, I can't sit in this hot mess any longer without it affecting my personal family and career. That's why people are leaving. People aren't, oh, they're being loyal to Trump. No, they're not being loyal to Trump. They're just smart. They know better to stick around longer. Too long in a situation is not going to be good for them down the road. So let's just be clear and honest about that. And they're just being loyal. No, that's not loyalty. That's called smarts. Because at the end of the day, once Trump finishes his presidency, I'm guarantee you he ain't gonna be getting invited to all the things he used to get invited to before he was running for president. Because Trump was very much in the social light. He was hanging out with a lot of the celebrities. He was doing a lot of things in the entertainment business. His life afterward is going to be completely different. He's going to be like a pariah. Trust and believe he's going to hang out around people that are going to be no fun, who are going to have the same racist mindset, it's going to be that whole crowd of people that caused a lot of the division within the United States. But that's not really who he is, because first of all, let me just clarify the hypocrisy. He's not really a Republican. He's an independent. And so that's why when he was going up for nomination for presidency, he ripped into all of the presidential candidates. He gave them the business and he exposed their weaknesses. And he just straight up just dismantled the Republican Party from the outside because he was independent. He was a Democrat back in the day. If you look, he was the biggest flip-flopper. His hypocrisy is ridiculous. You can just chain his stuff from back in the day to now. He's flip-flopped back and forth as most politicians do. But if you look at what he did once he ran as a Republican, he went right after him, man. Like just dissing them, talking about their wives and their family. I mean, no politics at all. No real platform at all. He just basically just did a reality show, which is part of the problem. We're so want to see the train wreck and we want to see more of it. And so as the worse he got, the more people watched. The more people watched, the more people enjoyed it. It became enjoyable. He didn't really have a platform. But what he did was once he got the right people in his team, which some of those people are coming back to haunt him, and they start really Bannon is really what got him on the presidency. Bannon doesn't get enough credit for that because Bannon brought that alt-right mindset, and that's what got him. That's what did it. Without Bannon, he would have never been president. Trust and believe. Hillary's whole people can't trust her thing, that hurt her, but she could have still won if Bannon would not have came on board. He brought a whole different demographic with him. Unfortunately, he brought a very demonic mindset and principles with him as well, because anything that's not of God that you're bringing into anything, then there's no middle. Either you have a godly mindset and you want to do godly things, or you have a demonic mindset, you want to do demonic things. And the difference is in your personal life, that affects you and then maybe your family. But when you're serving and when you're in service and you are in a position of power and influence, you can't play around like that, because the devil steps in and then he makes his plan and purpose, because now you've given him access to millions of people. So who would the devil rather get at? You as an individual and your 5 kids? Well, maybe so. Or you as the president and the millions of people that you control and a planet. Let me see if I was the devil. Let me see. I'm going to go with the president. I'm going to get at him, work him from every angle possible to meet my goals. That's how the devil works. Plots, plans, kills, steals. And as God tries to talk to you, let me tell you how this works. It's not like Trump did not have godly people around him trying to get him to chill out. But the ego, his pride, basically he pushed a lot of those people away, got rid of those people, and only got yes people around him. When you surround yourself with a bunch of people who's going to say yes every time and just smile in your face and say, yes, Mr. Trump, yes, Mr. President, then the devil has full access to your mind, because now you have nobody around you, because godly people are not going to let you continue to be a complete buffoon. Somebody has to be around you to pull you aside and go, stop already. You're dividing the country. Don't say things that are not godly. If you have an opinion, give that. But don't do and say things that completely plays into the devil's hands. Because that's what happens. For me and other people who are believers, we all got people in our midst of in our lives that if you step out of line, they're gonna pull your coattail, and you gotta trust those people. You understand what I'm saying? So it's quite interesting to see how everything right now is playing out when it comes to the hypocrisy in politics. I believe nothing that none of these people say when it comes to politics. Whatever they say is what every politician, as far as I'm concerned, are saying what we want to hear, because they want to keep their jobs and they want to keep their power and they want to keep their influence. So the problem is, well, then how do we decide who to vote for? That's not a hard one, and that's what's got the hypocrisy and the morals in a bad predicament, because then you have to vote for people who are more along the lines of your platform. And now you got to vote for somebody you don't like. That's hard, but it's our fault. It's our fault that these moments are happening, because we continue to create an environment to where people get away with stuff they shouldn't get away with. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't gotta like Obama, but morally, nah, he was cool. Mom, you don't have to agree with nothing Obama did, but morally, he was very moral. Now, you could say on a spiritual level that he was conflicted, but anybody who see, here's the problem, people. Anybody that steps into politics and you are a believer, you're gonna have a hard time, because your Christianity is gonna be put on blast. Your walk is going to be put on blast, because the United States is full of people who are not all believers. So now what are you going to do? Do you see what I'm saying? That becomes a problem. So when you take that oath and you decide to step into politics, the first thing you need to do is decide, am I going to be compromising God? And if the answer is no, I refuse to do that, yeah, we're going to see, because so far everyone has done it. Everybody on some level is compromised. Now you got some of these good old boys in these seats that straight up ain't doing it because they can get away with that because their district and where they live is predominantly Christian. So if you live in an area where you can get away with that, great. But the higher up you are, the more people you answer to when it comes to politics, the less opportunity you have. So if you're the president, now you're the president over everybody: Muslim, Jews, Christians, atheists. You're the president of everybody. And if you try to slide one way, then you start looking like you're the president over one group of people. It doesn't work that way. And that's what caused division. You got to make your mind up. You got to choose to be president and let the states and the individual areas work out all the other stuff. But you got to stop being hypocritical. We have to stop being hypocritical. Morals matter. Morals count when it comes to service. It counts for the president. It counts for the Senate. It counts for governors, mayors, anybody, teachers, anybody that is serving the community. You have to keep more responsibility there, because if they can't handle it, they shouldn't be stepping into that arena. I can't tell you how many times someone said, Arquise, you should be a pastor. You should be this. I was like, are you crazy? Bro, I'm making it day by day. I need the Father with me 24 hours, 7 days a week. I'm not going to put myself in a position where a certain level of morality has to be there, because my walk is a constant fight. I take responsibility for it. Now, where I am rock solid is when I'm working with young people. Now, I don't play around in there. That's an area I'm strong. So it's something that you should have to be aware of. It's something you need to focus on. Morals matter, and hypocrisy has to stop. It's your boy Arquise, man. We're going to play another song right now. Sit back and relax. Christ side in the building.
Christ side, we right here. Lifestyle of a rider. 567, baby. Hey yo, ANC, we gon' drop them for all my dogs against the grain, man. I put 5 on them eyes. Come on, I drop 5 on the eyes, man. That's what's up. Hit the block, never stop, homie. That's what's up. If you rockin' with the Father, boom immortal, I'm against all odds. Fly drops like 2 peas in a pot. Me and my God drop prize, making heads nod. I ride fortified, gone off that most high. Posted alive, holy strap on my right side. When I get to busting these spiritual tongues, bluffing and nothing stopping me, bored until he comes and it's all done. When a prodigal son goes from hood raised to center stage, locked in a cage, hide on bail, giving God praise. Living in persecution, that was illusion. Choosing fools, be running up at you with wicked solution. Moving hard to lose them, using the feel of my past. Label me dead and I never could last. Fast, be running up at you, ready to get you if they had you. Flipping the script, I never could you if you get this. Living my life religious, so the Pharisees never could get this. Telekinesis, I follow Jesus, not your thesis. Please us, cause only the Father can pick up my pieces. So leave us wrong. Fly on the eyes, man, that's what's up. Hit the block, never stop, homie, that's what's up. If you rockin' with the Father now, that's what's up. What? That's what's up. Come on, that's what's up. I drop fly on the eyes, man, that's what's up. Hit the block, never stop, homie, that's what's up. If you rockin' with the Father, tell him that's what's up. What? That's what's up. Come on, that's what's up. Now I was raised on this concrete, could never be weak, slanging OCs to make ends meet. Or you don't eat, soldier hog life to make friends. So many lost in the wind, I bend my knee for my dogs in the pen. Trend like fog through these Frisco catacombs. Call me Houdini's clone, cause I should've been gone. Still I roam by the grace of God, flint hard. Live by the law, you gon' fall if you thinking that you hard. Now it's all raw, my soldiers that's on welfare, he's still there. See, I'm a living testimony of the prayers. Intercession in the 3rd Brigade, slot time of raid. Plug stage to my thugs, I got love for days. Pinned your block for them street tools. Call me the fool cause I dropped out of school and sold a knock or 2. And yet I'm cool with the red or blue. Now who'da knew the young dog would've run back home to snatch you? I drop fly on the eyes, man, that's what's up. Hit the block, never stop, homie, that's what's up. If you rockin' with the Father now, that's what's up. What? That's what's up. Come on, that's what's up. I drop fly on the eyes, man, that's what's up. Hit the block, never stop, homie, that's what's up. If you rockin' with the Father, tell him that's what's up. What? That's what's up. Come on, that's what's up. On the dark side, holding up the light. That's how it's going down. Come on. Hey, 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 hey. From the east to the west side, it's Christ's side. Hold it down. Yeah. Hey, 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 hey. I'm still scrapping like a savage, boy. That's what's up. While the wicked they live in lavish, boy. That's what's up. I put mine in for show, time in 88 to 95, banging and grinding. Accumulate ways to separate the fake, to agitate the 7 to 8 with rhymes that stimulate. We gladiate to infiltrate the weight, suffocate to forsake the path we must take. I drop fly on the eyes, man. That's what's up. Hit the block, never stop, homie. That's what's up. If you rockin' with the Father now, that's what's up. What? That's what's up. Come on, that's what's up. I drop fly on the eyes, man. That's what's up. Hit the block, never stop, homie. That's what's up. If you rockin' with the Father, tell him that's what's up. What? That's what's up. Come on, that's what's up. Hey, 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 hey.
It's your boy Arkeys. That's Against All Odds, Ace Dog, Christ Side Soldiers. Man, yeah, Against All Odds is the perfect song because that's what we got to do. Against the odds, we got to stand up. We got to stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We've got to stop letting social media, pressure, and everything else dictate what we do. Morals matter. We've got to put things right and in check. Look, you ain't got to be a believer to have morals. You just got to know right from wrong. You got to just watch your walk and watch your talk, how you treat others. It's just common sense. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to agree with everybody. You can agree to disagree. And my thing is this, no matter what you do, everybody wins and loses. Sports, whatever it is, winning and losing happens all the time. So when your team loses, then you just take a loss. But when your team wins, you win. But with that, we try to teach good sports conduct. We try to teach our young people, when you win or lose, how to carry and conduct yourself, called good sportsmanship, right? And that platform is across the board when it comes to everything. But you're telling young people that none of that matters. Oh, you can act a complete fool. You can have no morals. You can get out here and sleep with multiple women. Don't worry about your marriage. Who cares? Nobody cares about that stuff no more. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. The message that's going out to the young people, the people that are going to be running this country in a couple of decades, is none of that matters. Marriage doesn't matter. Celibacy doesn't matter. Relationships doesn't matter. You do what you want to do, no matter what the consequences are. As long as you do a good job, that's all that matters. Well, then shoot, then they can all become pimps. As long as they're good pimps, they can just do what they want to do, right? Is that what we're telling our young people? That as long as you making money, and even if you marry, that doesn't matter. You can sleep around. Look, you can become president. Ridiculousness. You guys have made me mad, man. Not you specifically, but everybody as a whole. So thirsty to get their man on. It doesn't matter if it's Democrats or Republican. You gotta stop being thirsty. You so thirsty, you're gonna throw everything out the window. It doesn't make any sense. Now, let me get on everybody else. About other hypocrisy. Black people, hypocrisy. Can't stand it. Black Lives Matter, man, I can't stand it. Because you guys want to protest against the cops shooting and all this stuff. That's hypocrisy, because what you should be protesting is all the black on black crime. That should be the focused, because the statistics are through the roof. You want to march? I can pick a couple of neighborhoods right now you need to be marching in. But the reason why you don't march is because the real reason is because your life would be in danger. Let's just be honest about it. You know, you're not marching down none of these gang streets and none of that stuff talking about Black Lives Matter and approaching any gang members because you're going to get the business. That's the real reason, but at least say that. At least come out and say we're against black on black crime. That is going to be our platform, because these cops is going to do whatever they're going to do and whatever it is. But if we start with us first, let's start there. Let's teach our young kids how to stay out of trouble, blah, blah, blah. You can have that whole Black Panther mindset about how to empower our community. But we do it in a passive way and we're focused all wrong. Let me give you an example. When I worked in the system, if you don't know what the system is, it's the bottom is foster care and work your way up to group homes, juvenile hall, to jails. That's the system. Guess who was doing all of the volunteering? When I would call black churches and all these black organizations to come volunteer to help our young black people that were incarcerated or locked up or in mental health facilities, no black people were showing up for that. I've been doing this about 20 years. And I constantly was speaking about that in churches and various other places. And our kids, man, we appreciate the work you do. And man, we're going to be right there with you, and never show up. Never. But then who coming through the door volunteering to teach kids how to read? Who's coming through the door donating all this stuff? Always white people or others. But for the most part, always white people. And what kind of message does that send? If you're a young black kid and you're constantly seeing white people bring you things and teaching you how to read and trying to help you, then you start thinking that white people are the solution. They're the only ones that can solve a problem. And it's black people's fault because we're focused on the wrong things. We just completely abandon who we are. And it's sad. It's got that way. And I would love for somebody to even try to debate that. Well, we have these conferences and these things. Like, I don't care about that. If you're not on the front line where our young African-American kids are at, if you're not dealing with them where they're falling at, where they're struggling at, where they're completely being sucked into the streets, you're not doing anything. You're only focusing on the kids that are easy to deal with. Ooh, I'm getting them today. Ooh, y'all must have made the father mad too, because he's giving me the right words. You're only focusing on the easiest kids to help, the kids that can get the scholarships, the kids that can go to college. You completely just sweep the other kids under like, well, they're just hopeless. They're a lost cause. That's what y'all been doing for the last 50 years as far as I'm concerned. And now it's even more funny because now what they're doing is they're not even letting a lot of black kids in the system no more. Foster care and all that other stuff. Now they're letting white kids in there. They're just locking up the black kids. They're locking them up. That's been a trend for a very long time. I started speaking about that 15 years ago, that I started seeing a shift in who was getting services in the system. I started seeing less and less black kids. I asked the judge I played basketball with. There's a judge out in the bed. I'm not even going to put him on blast like that. And I just made I'm not seeing no kids. You're not sending no kids to me. And he straight up said, and he's real cool. He really tries to help a lot of the young kids. But he said a lot of his what do you call it? Your other constituents, not constituents, but your other judges, whoever your people are, everybody's locking them up. But you know why? The number one reason why a lot of kids are not getting services, because they get services for 1 or 2 years and they go right back to the hood they go to and they start doing the same thing over and over again. So it's like a cycle that never gets broken. Black Lives Matter. We got to stop the hypocrisy. Stop focusing. Them cops have no business killing us, okay? Y'all need to either break up into different divisions, like an army, like somebody needs to focus on that agenda, but there needs to be a big chunk of y'all refocused on the young people on the streets, these runaways, these hustlers, these pimps, these strippers in the music industry, and completely go after what is degrading our young people, our young African Americans. That hypocrisy has to stop. I'm getting everybody today. Everybody's getting the business. The hypocrisy in the Black community has to stop. Don't be complaining about nothing. If you're not volunteering, don't want to hear anything. You're not doing anything. You're just talking. If you're not finding your local foster care agency, group homes, locked mental health facilities, locked educational facilities, juvenile halls. If you're not doing anything in those realms, you're missing all of the kids you're complaining about. Those are the kids you're always complaining about. Them thugs, them this, and all the kids that you are tired of doing all this heinous crime and this heinous shooting. Hey, show them a different thing. Go where they're at and make a difference. If it's Boys and Girls Club, if more disadvantaged kids, go there. But I don't want to hear, I don't want to see another march. I don't want to see no more marching. March yourself to the Boys and Girls Club. March yourself to the Lincoln Child Center. March yourself and go volunteer in the areas. And I don't mean once a month. Put in some work, because I know you're not there, because I be there and you're not there with me. That's straight up, and no one can tell me different. Everybody knows me. Everybody knows what I'm about. Straight up. If you're not there, when I go to the homeless facility at out here in Houston, when they're feeding and when ministering, the whole staff is, other than 2 people, are white. What the heck is going on? And don't think that Black people don't know about it, because they do. Because I know Black people that go to that church and they don't go there. So I'm not, dog. My people, my Black people, you ain't getting away with it. Not when I'm around. I'm a real soldier about it, man. The hypocrisy in that culture has to stop. Everybody's getting it. Hispanic people too. Y'all getting it too. Y'all act like, look, first of all, the colorism within Black and Hispanic culture is a hot mess, which is another whole issue around the hypocrisy. You've got the immigrants coming over, and then here's what's even more funny. I know a lot of Latinos that voted for Trump because they don't want the immigrants coming over, because for some reason there's this colorism that happens between Latinos that's been in America, Chicanos, and then of course immigrants. And of course a lot of that gang stuff plays into it too as well, because if you didn't know, a lot of these gangs started because one set of Latinos was constantly getting at this other set. And if you don't believe it, just look at some of these shows about gangs and how gangs got started. You're going to be quite surprised to find out how these gangs formed, supposedly to protect each other, and then end up being real gangs and trafficking and all that stuff. Just like Bloods and Crips. Bloods and Crips didn't start off the way they were. They started off trying to protect the neighborhood, and then that money came into it, and then that changes everything. Money changes everything. So within Latino communities, look, let me just tell y'all right now, you're not gonna like this, but it's the truth, because I've heard it. And matter of fact, on CNN, the guy actually said it in the interview with the United States Shades of America. He said, we didn't cross the border crossed us. There's this underlying thing within all Latin culture from South America, is that we're not crossing. This is ours. Texas, California, there's a whole chunk of the United States that Latinos believe that's theirs always. And they teach that like, this is ours. They took it. And can't even hate on them, because you did. So now what they do is when they really get into an area like LA, it's almost 65% Hispanic. Look, they're not trying to speak no English up in there. That feels, there are parts of California that, especially in Los Angeles, where you're lucky to hear some English. It's like Little Mexico up in that mug. And they consider California and a couple other places theirs. Like, you're trying to, immigration? What are you talking about? This is ours. That's how they talk. That's what they really believe. Like, this is ours. Y'all took it. Just like how, same thing with how black people are. What you're getting back is the pushback from things that were done hundreds of years ago. People were just like, nah, they're just not having it no more. That mindset. So that's why that guy said, we didn't cross the border crossed us. This was ours. Y'all took it. You didn't ask, you just came and took it. So that's why people are the way they are. But the hypocrisy in all of it is, but you want the help. You can't have it both ways. You want to come and take something that you believe is yours, but you want the people that took it to help you. Nah, that's not going to happen. That's hypocrisy too, to do it without them. Because the reality is, in a lot of culture here in the United States, is they're insular. Like the Jewish people don't need anybody. They here in America, they're insular. They basically function within themselves. They give loans to each other. Their money, they keep the money within. They keep the money within the tribe. I call them the tribe. They know how to partner within themselves. The Latin culture is the same daggone way. Trust and believe. Filipino culture, same way. They know how to partner amongst themselves and build community and build finances around each other, around real estate, banking, whatever it may be. But the problem with that is the influx of immigrants. Because remember, immigrants, let me tell you, let me explain something that happens to immigrants that people don't talk about. First of all, here's the hypocrisy. I got to keep bringing hypocrisy moments in. Here's the hypocrisy around immigrants. We got to stop them at the border. Well, here's an idea. Stop providing jobs that they want. If you don't want the immigrants to come over here, stop providing the jobs that give them the opportunity to come over here. All you Republican businessmen, all you Democratic businessmen, you don't want the immigrants here because you're trying to help. You want them here to exploit. Democrats want them here so they can exploit the cheap labor. That's what it is. Say it's not true, because if it's not true, go to any farm in California, any farm in any area, see who's doing all the work. Who's doing all the labor in the construction? Who's doing all the labor in the restaurant industry? There are multiple industries that are completely taking advantage of immigrants and completely paying them barely anything. But compared to what they were getting in Mexico, it's a lot. Now, here's the problem with that. So let me give you an example, because here's an example of a situation that I know of a kid that I used to counsel. So what happened is their family was sending money back to Mexico. They started doing good, but they were illegal, right? As they start sending money back to Mexico, people caught notice, right? So what ended up happening? The cartels came to the family and taxed them and was like, okay, we see y'all flossing, but you know, we want some we need to be able to protect you. We need to tax you. Do you know how often that happens where where Latinos, immigrants are sending money back to Mexico, wherever they are, and they get taxed by gangs, the cartel, and various other stuff? That happens almost all the time. So it's like a no-win situation. You come here for a better life. You start making money, start sending money back. People see you flossing. Now they're taxing you for safety, whatever you want to call it, protection. And now you got to work doubly hard. It's ridiculous. You guys have no idea. You guys think so small, but you have no idea of the full circle of how it happens. You know, I'm cluing you guys in, man. I'm really going hard on y'all. So now that's the hypocrisy, is because we say one thing. We know, stop them at the border. We don't want them here. But behind closed doors, as a matter of fact, it's not even hidden. But we exploit the cheap labor in the farming industry, in the construction industry, in the restaurant industry, in various other industries. They completely exploit it. How do they do it? Normally the foreman will speak English. He's an American, and then he's responsible for finding the staff. What he does, and what all of them do, let alone if it's landscaping or whatever it may be, he knows where to get the homies. He knows it's just not even rocket science. They get the vans, they go out, they get them, they bring them back, they partner with them, and they just do whatever it is they need to do. That's the hypocrisy in it. You don't want them here, but you want them here. But it's just stupid. If you don't want people to come to America, you need to deal with the industries that are hiring them. Because you can say whatever you want to say, but until you address the farming industry, the restaurant industry, the construction industry, the whole landscaping industry, all of that. Until you do that, it's all smoke and mirrors. And that's the problem. You guys the hypocrisy is ridiculous. Like, when they talk about that stuff, I'm looking at them like, man, please. The reason you don't do nothing about it because these businessmen have to pay you. They have to fill your pockets and make sure that you are just talking and not doing anything. They need to make money. So they have to donate to your campaign and tell you how great you are and that, you know, we're strong on illegals, but just not these over here, not the ones that work for me. Just get the ones that are get the ones before they get here, but keep the ones that we got. Matter of fact, let's make a sanctuary city so we can continue to exploit and get over it. So y'all can't sell that sanctuary stuff to me, man, please. You're exploiting the daylights out of them. And then on top of the hypocrisy, you're taking all the money into finance and not dealing with homelessness. That's why homelessness in California is out of control, because you're putting all your focus on people that can work versus people that you say are not worthy of getting help. You don't want to help the homeless because in your mind, you say the homeless are basically a lost cause. That's how a lot of you guys see them, because they have mental health issues, drug issues. They're like not even worth, because you feel like they're just going to sit back and collect the check. That's the real reason. But here's the problem, because ever since the recession way back when, what you have now in California is the middle class living in campers in neighborhoods they used to own houses in and condos, and they have to live in these campers so their kids can still go to the schools they used to go to. Do you understand what I'm saying? They have to live in campers so their kids can still continue to go to the schools they used to go to. There's a completely different structure of homeless now. It's ridiculous. But now you're putting all this energy into sanctuary cities instead of addressing the situation where homelessness and Americans who at some times were veterans, teachers, lawyers, doctors, may have fell on hard times, may have lost everything, but you don't care because in your mind, they're just freeloading. Man, the hypocrisy of the United States of America is ridiculous, but it's so real. It just boggles my mind. I can't even, see, you guys got to get out and travel. What I want you to do, you need to go to California and see it for yourself, because it's going to really tick you off to see how they try to tax their way out of everything. But at the end of the day, that money is never used for what it's used for. You know, gas tax here, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. They're not doing anything. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. California's a hot mess. You can come to Texas, because I believe Texas is one of the greatest states in the United States. You can have your business. Everything here is no state tax here. You can build on that. You can have things here. And if you are struggling, then this is an area where you really can recover, you know, and get jobs. Man, this place is great. I'm just telling you. But go to travel, go to other places, go to Texas, go to New York, go to California, see how different states are dealing with these issues, because you have no idea what's going on in the United States. You're just sitting on your little block, your little city, your little corner, and you are making all these judgments based off of nothing. It's called the United States for a reason. We can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we have to stop being hypocrites. We have to stop being just thirsty for people that are just not focused on bringing us together. Man, I had to go hard on y'all today. I'm sorry. I had to do it. Because someone's going to hear this and they're going to realize, you know what? He's right. Morals do matter. And I've let my anger, which is fuel, because first of all, I let my anger get in the way of my judgment. I let my flesh get out of control and make decisions that clearly my spirit had nothing to do with. I'm mad at this, I'm mad at that, I'm mad at how things are in America, but at the end of the day, I went to the wrong person to solve the problems. All I had to do was talk to the Father and let him guide and lead me. And I can't keep sitting on this couch, pointing at that TV, mad in a way where nothing happens. I have to get up and make a difference. I have to go out and volunteer. I have to go out and feed the homeless, because first of all, we don't need the government to do nothing other than infrastructure, to be honest. There's enough churches, enough mosques, enough temples in the United States of America to deal with the homeless issue, the runaway issue, and every other social issue. Trust and believe. But there goes the hypocrisy, because everybody's complaining but not doing nothing. Man, y'all made the Christ-sized soldier in me come out up in here. I had to do it. I just went hard. Father was like, get him, Marquise, because I'm tired. He fed up. That's what it is. Man, it's your boy Marquise, man. And I just really today had a lot to talk about. I only played one song because there's only enough room for one song. God wanted you to get something out of this message, and he meant for you to hear it. So I hope you got something out of today, and know that I love you, and that if you have any comments, any thoughts, please hit me up, email me at icreatemusicgroup@gmail.com. That's definitely a good place you can hit me up. Of course, just send me a message, man, and we'll have a conversation. I guarantee you when I'm done, you'll see the light. It's your boy Marquise. Peace and grace.
Lord, you truly been good to me, and I know it's so amazing, Lord, to be loved by you.
Nah, it's not hard to explain, so you better stay close so you don't go insane. You'll never be the same, and everything about you is really gonna change. Now check out the way that you walk, and check out the way that you talk. Started from the bottom, now you're here, and everything in your life seems so clear. Let's ride. It's so amazing to be loved by you. Through love.
Teach me, and you show me.
Thank you, Lord.
What love really is.
Yes, Lord.
And the sacrifice you made was all for me.
You done it for me.
And as I you continue to show me.
Yes, you did.
How amazing you are. So amazing to be loved. I follow you to the moon and the sky.
I'll bring you to the moon and back, cause everything you did got my life on track. The whole universe really needs to know that everything about you's the way I flow. So you better get up and stand up and rep the king. And if you can't rap, you know you better sing. So stand up and let it all out, cause this is what it's all about. That's right. So amazing. So amazing. Feeling so blessed. I'm feeling so blessed, yeah. So amazing. So amazing. So blessed. I'm feeling so blessed, I'm so amazed. I'll never turn my back and I'll never run away. And I know I'm not the best, and there's so many things that I need to confess, because you never gave up on me, and I hope everybody can see I'm a better man all because of you. It doesn't matter what you say, it's what you do. It's so amazing to be loved by you. That's right.